Congresswoman, very busy and exciting week for you. Many of the speakers last night focused on Joe Biden as a good, humble, and decent man. Does that kind of thing get people excited to go to the polls?
Well, first of all, good morning, Stephanie. I know I am excited. And watching last night, I think people got a chance to see a glimpse of the real Joe Biden, as well as Jill Biden, and just that they are humble, public servants who care about people and who care about family and their faith. And I think America, you could hear a lot of people, there was sort of a sigh of relief that they could breathe and they could actually envision a time where we would not feel this angst and this sadness and that's really what I focused on in my speech, was about that classroom in the future where kids are going to be thinking about this moment and what we did. And so I'm so proud people got a chance to see the Joe Biden and the Jill Biden that we know here in Delaware. And Jill's speech was actually given from the school where my two children graduated from, Brandywine High School.
You'll be hard-pressed to find almost anybody who will argue that President Trump is a more decent human being than Joe Biden. But here's the thing. People vote in private, and there are folks out there who will forgive President Trump for almost anything because the stock market is doing so well. Just yesterday, the S&P 500 hit a record high. Trump's going to argue that all of those gains will be lost without him. We know that is not true, but how do you convince Americans to make a change and potentially risk those economic gains?
Well, the reality is, as you said, people are concerned about their own well-being, their life and their livelihood. And I think that that's what our folks are focused on. While the S&P might do well and some individuals who have a lot of resources might do well, the average person is saying, are you fighting for me to make sure I have that expanded unemployment insurance or those SNAP benefits while I'm going through this economic hardship? And so they're looking for a champion. They're looking for a fighter. And I think that's what they see in Joe Biden, somebody who's going to care not just about, the most of these, but those who are struggling and those who have needs. And so I think that's what people are going to say. Am I better off? And right now, people are not better off. They're hurting. And so that's what's going to, I think, drive people to the polls. Also, I think what people want to see is a vision for the future. How are we going to build back out of this? And that's why I think that's also going to attract voters. And then the last thing I will say is on that vision, I think we have to deal with these issues of race and justice. And that's something that we're really not hearing from a President Trump. But you are hearing it from Joe Biden about uniting this country. That's what they just want to be the United States of America again.
Then given how much people are struggling, we know they are. We know you've got over 30 million people on unemployment, 30,000 small businesses have already shut. Why is it that President Trump does better in the polls on things relating to the economy?
Well, the reality is we've seen these polls shift, go back and forth. We're not even focused on the polls. The polls that we're focusing on are the polling places in November, because they change, they go up and down. And right now, we're going to be really vigilant in terms of making sure that we deal with voter suppression, voter depression, dealing with the Russians. Those are the issues that we're focused on right now, not necessarily the polls, because they change. But what isn't changing is the plight of people in this country. And so we just want to make sure they know how to vote. We want to, as Michelle Obama talked about, they're going to have to be prepared with their comfortable clothes to stand in line or to vote by mail early. That's where we're pushing people, because we know right now we need to win in November.
Bring a folding chair and a pack of lunch. You may be in line for a while.
Or a breakfast.
We've seen President Trump's ads. He is trying to argue that former VP Biden doesn't have the mental faculties to do the job. Do you have to even address this? Do you have to convince Americans that he's wrong, or not even touch it?
I tend to be a pragmatic optimist. I don't like to call names. And I think that the American people are kind of sick and tired of that. They're sick and tired of the tweets, the negative ads, we just want people want to be healthy. They want to go back to work. They want to make sure their children are safe in schools. And so, I hope that people can see through those kind of attacks this time. And I think 2018 is a great example of it, where we took back the House because we had a message that focused on what people cared about: healthcare. They don't care about who you're calling names. They care about their lives and their livelihoods and their children. And so, yeah, we're not going to dignify that. We're going to focus. And as John Lewis said, keep our eyes on the prize.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.